You smell that?
Nature's most powerful aphrodisiac.
Leaving right after this drink. Rock and roll, whiskey, and other stories. With your host, Brian Shaw.
Cheers. Oh, man. That Jack Daniel's single barrel is some good shit. Welcome to episode 8 of I'm Leaving Right After This Drink, Rock and Roll, Whiskey, and Other Stories. Man, a lot has happened over the last few weeks, and we're going to talk about it because that's going to be tonight's episode. I'm already fucked up, I think. I've just lost all train of thought already, and we're just trying to get into this motherfucker. Fuck it. Let's just keep it going, right? What the fuck am I going to restart it for? You already know I'm drinking. Lot of music scene over the last few weeks since our last episode, and lots to talk about. So let's just fucking talk about some music tonight. You know what I'm saying? I think the first thing I want to talk about is a new album that's out. Kerry King, From Hell I Rise is the name of the album, and man, it is fucking good shit. This is one of those albums makes you just want to break shit the more you listen to it, and you just crank it up as loud as you possibly can, and you're just like, fuck. This is what we have been missing for so fucking long. Yeah, this album is really fucking good. I was actually like thinking to myself, you know what? It's probably not going to be all that great. Like, they released 2 singles. They're fucking kick ass. At some point out of these like 12 or 13 songs on it, you're going to be like, but no, they are all fucking kick ass songs. And it, again, just makes you want to break shit. My favorite song on the album is called Rage. Yeah, check this one out while I take a drink. It is just fucking good. This album is definitely one for the books. What else can we talk about? Other new music that's out there. The Dead Daisies, kind of on the total opposite side, because you got Kerry King from Slayer. You got the Dead Daisies, more straight up rock and roll. You've got John Corabi at vocals again, which is fucking phenomenal, because I think the best thing to happen to the Dead Daisies was putting John Corabi as your lead singer. The new album is called Light 'Em Up. I think it comes out in September. And man, this new track, this is some good shit too. Take a listen to this. Oh yeah. You gotta love the fucking Dead Daisies, man. They're actually, they're playing up in Nashville, trying to get up to Nashville. I got my tickets. I'm just trying to make trying to coordinate the trip to fucking work, and I'm hoping it can. But if not, I will definitely be back around to see the Dead Daisies. Of course, opening up this show, I shouldn't say of course, because you really don't know who I'm about to say, but is a band called the Rock City Machine Company, a band featuring a friend of mine, Ryan Cook, who I've known for a long time, man. Me and him go back quite a many years, and going back to my radio days in Roanoke, Virginia, in a band that he was in back in those days called Hair of the Dog. Since then, he has done quite a lot musically. He has also played guitar for Gene Simmons' solo band. He's played guitar and bass in Ace Frehley's solo band. Currently on the road with Ace Frehley, doing the Rock City Machine Company. The guy's like fucking just busy as can be. And this album is so good. It's 8 tracks, and it's I think it was produced by Marty Fredrickson, of course, Mr. fucking Hitmaker. And this album is some good shit. Can't Stop the Train. They cover Bob Seger, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man, which is really fucking cool. One of my favorite tracks, surprisingly, is a ballad. Yeah, I know. I'm a little softy sometimes. Check this one out. It's called High Road. I'm not crying 'cause you're gone, singing the same old song. Yeah, just go out and pick up that one too, man, because it is well worth it. Like I said, it's 8 tracks. They're all just, good straight up rock songs. I promise you won't be disappointed in this album. What else do we got? Let's see. I've seen a few bands over the last few weeks also, all ranging in shows and crowd and everything. So where do we start? Todd Rundgren is where we're going to start. Now, I am not a fan of Todd Rundgren. I know one song from Todd Rundgren, maybe two, and I can't even think of the name of it right now, but if I heard it, I would go, yep, it's Todd Rundgren. Now, Todd Rundgren produced Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell. So, yeah, that's kind of where Todd Rundgren, in my book, like made all his cash and whatever. But the guy's like, you know, been writing songs for people, and other people recorded his stuff and all kinds of, you know, shit with Todd Rundgren. I don't know a lot about the guy other than on this particular tour, it was about him and playing songs that were not hits. Maybe they were hits to other people. They just weren't hits to me because I didn't know one song. He didn't even play Bang on the Drum all day. Like I got my friend Cricket to come with me. We're just going to call her Cricket for this episode. I spit all over the place. I got her to come because I'm like, we're going to go see the legendary fucking Todd Rundgren. And we're both like, oh yeah, Bang on the Drum all day. And I'm like, yeah. And then like, I find out that day he doesn't play that fucking song. Luckily, we stayed across the street and had some drinks before the show so we could tolerate Todd Rundgren and his no hits. In all honesty, man, it was a cool show to see. It's just not my cup of tea. So I went because I wanted to hang out with a friend of mine, a great friend of mine that I've known since my days in Phoenix. And every time we get together, it is always a fun time and a fucking trip. And this time was no different. And so I always get to hear the stories from the road and just some different shit, get some insight into the business a little bit. And always a fun hang with this cat. And of course, he gave my friend a new nickname. So I called her Cricket. I also had another nickname for her called LS. And then he decided he was going to nickname her Tits McGee. So, now her new nickname is Tits McGee, at least when me and my friend talk about her. So anyhow, we had a good time at that show, but it was kind of funny. We're like sitting in the crowd and I'm like, the sound was not super loud in there for Todd Rundgren. And we were kind of like whispering to each other, like during I'm like, dude, I think everybody around us can hear us like totally like laughing and like, just being wise asses in here. So we tried to like not do that too often. But, again, Todd Rundgren's just not my speed, but the guy is just like this eclectic guy and super talented, has written a ton of shit, produced a ton of stuff. His drummer, of course, is top notch. His bass player, like these guys, man, you get to that level and like every musician is just fucking, top notch. And so that was an interesting show. But again, one for the books to check out to kind of, broaden your musical horizons a little bit. And then afterwards, we went to a little dive bar in Clearwater called the Monkey Bar. And let me just tell you, this place, always an experience, but always fun too, because it's just fun to go there. And always a local cover band is in there. I have no idea what the hell this cover band was that night. We probably saw them play an hour's worth of music and never heard their band name one time. My friend was, we were of course poking fun at the band because, well, we can, and you could because they were good and they were up there doing it, but some of the stuff they should not have been doing, even though the drummer had this awesome Mick Brown 80s hair and gloves on and man, just fucking going to the fan there, blowing his hair back and shit. So that was definitely entertaining. Oh, it was also entertaining too because the woman bartending, my friend wanted an old fashioned, and the Monkey Bar is not really a place where you go and order an old fashioned. Like you get a Jack and Coke or a beer there. You know what I mean? Like. You don't go in there looking for a fucking dirty martini. You go in there and you get a fucking beer or whatever. But it was funny because he's like, "Can I get an old fashioned?" She kind of looks at him like, "I can make you an old fashioned, but do you care if it's in a plastic cup?" And he's like, "I don't give a fuck." On the other hand, just give me a Coors Light. So anyhow, we ended up staying there having a couple drinks, and before I took him back to his hotel for the night, we go across the street to this diner, this 24-hour diner. Holy shit, man. This is like one of those places where it's just like every drunk person and their brother is in there at 2 a.m, and it was worth every fucking penny. The food, it was fucking great. It was nice to run the Touch Tunes. Gotta love the Touch Tunes app by the way, on your phone, because that way you can kind of like, control the jukebox without everybody getting on your ass going, hey, why do you play my fucking song? But so we ran the jukebox, and then Tits McGee, aka Cricket, she decided she was going to play Bang on the Drum all day, because she's like, you know what? If I didn't fucking hear it at the show, I'm still going to hear it tonight. And of course, we all got a big kick out of that, and whatever. But it was a great food. I think it was called Papa's Diner or something like that. I don't know, but it was fucking good. If you're ever at the Monkey Bar, just the diner right across the street, that's where you want to go. But go there at like 2 in the morning, because that's when it's going to be really fun. Let's see. Then after Todd Rundgren, let's fast forward a week later, Mr. Big, same venue, and actually I knew all the fucking songs, so that was good. And I brought Cricket, aka Tits McGee, aka LS, all of went to the show again, and yeah, this was awesome, because this took me back to when I was a teenager and seeing Mr. Big at Mississippi Nights in St. Louis. They did the whole Lean Into It album from beginning to end. Mr. Big is just that, that early 90s band that just had so much fucking talent. Eric Martin on vocals, Pat Torpey was on the drums, Paul Gilbert on guitar, Billy Sheehan on bass. Like, this band was just so fucking good. And in my opinion, man, they are like probably one of the most talented fucking bands that was, ever put together. And always a great time seeing them, even though, like, Paul Gilbert's definitely in my, top 10 favorite guitar players. The guitar solo, after a couple minutes, I'm like, dude, all right, we get it. You can play fast. You're good. Let's just move on to the next song. Then you got a bass solo. Then you got a drum solo. It's like, come on. When was the last time you were actually at a concert and you saw a bass drum and a guitar solo? Yeah. It's very, 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 very long time ago for me. They did the whole Lean Into It album from beginning to end. I think I mentioned that. And that was always, one of my favorite albums from them. I love the song Daddy, Brother, Lover, Little Boy. That's fucking such a great song. That playing the drills during the guitar solo. Come on, man. It just doesn't get any fucking better than that when you want to go just see a cool rock and roll show. Eric's voice is kind of hit or miss. I don't know if that's because of the, because of just the touring, or if that's because his vocals are starting to go just from just getting older in age, or what the situation is. But the band did a great job covering for him, so that was great. The drunk guy who kept trying to talk to us through the whole show was a little bit annoying. And like, look, dude, don't touch people. Like, what the fuck? Like, we were before the show, we're just kind of sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden this dude is just standing there like fucking hammered. And my friend's like, what's up? And then he starts talking, and I'm like, I cover my beer thinking he's going to spit in my fucking beer because he's so drunk. On top of it, he's got a heavy Puerto Rican accent. So it's like you're drunk and you got this heavy accent. I'm like, bro, I can't fucking understand what you're saying. And by the way, quit fucking touching me. Nobody wants a stranger fucking touching them, especially on your fucking forearm. Very fucking weird. And I was just like, can you fucking stop it? And his buddy, who was like his best friend, as we found out from talking to him, they've been friends since they were like this big, as he said. And that guy, he was a saint. Because if that would have been my friend, I'd have been like, look, dude, if you get thrown out of here, you're on your own to get back to the car before we leave. So yeah, man, definitely an interesting night at the fucking Capitol Theater for Mr. Big. And then, of course, the fucking finale of all the shows, the Rolling fucking Stones. The greatest rock and roll band of all time. You could tell me otherwise. You could argue that, but you would be wrong, because the Rolling fucking Stones are the greatest rock and roll band on the fucking planet. 80 years old, still fucking killing it. Putting on a great live show. Stage is fucking unbelievable. The musicians that are, that are backing these guys, the vocals and the backing vocals, and the bass player, and, the keyboard guy, and all the organ guy, whatever the fuck. Phenomenal, man. Just fucking great. Again, you've been in the business that long, going back to Todd Rundgren. You've been in the business that long, the people you're going to play with are fucking going to be top notch. Mick, still Mick, sounds amazing. Keith Richards, even though they did a slow song from the new record that he sings, and I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck are you saying? I think we need, like, I looked at my friend and I go, I think it's time for subtitles to be entered here on the screen when he's singing because what the fuck? Then he sang Little TNA, of course, a classic from way back in the day. And even then, I'm like, I don't even know if I really understand what the fuck he's saying, and I know the words. Like he's trying to sing or whatever, and you're like, I know I'm singing the right words, but am I? Because I may not be based on what just whatever, man. But then you got Ronnie Wood. Ronnie Wood is just, I think Ronnie Wood, zero fucks, doesn't give a shit anymore about nothing. This dude looks like he just rolled out of fucking bed. Like, doesn't give a crap. His ears are ginormous. Like, his ears are like this fucking big on his head, man. It's just fucking weird. And at one point, I looked at my friend and I said, I think Ronnie Wood looks worse than Keith Richards. So you kind of go, Mick still gives a fuck. He's got to look the part. Keith, still looks the part. You think he's going to look like shit, but not as shitty as Ronnie Wood, in my opinion. I mean, they're all 80, so they're going to look bad, right? Because they're fucking old. But they're still fucking great. So then they got the runway, going out from the main stage out to like the 40-yard line or whatever of the floor. And then, Mick's doing his dancing and shit out there and fucking sprints back to the stage. And you're like, dude, the guy's fucking 80. If my dad did that and he's not even 80, I'd probably be calling an ambulance to come get him. So it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, and these guys are still doing it, man. They're fucking playing guitar. They're, like you'd think they might, after all these years, they might have some arthritis in their fingers or something, man. But no. I mean, these guys may be sleeping 20 out of 24 hours of the fucking day. But those 2.5 hours or whatever they're on stage, man, they are fucking killing it. And they're giving you one hell of a show. Of course, we were in the nosebleed section, but that's okay because you're in the presence of fucking greatness at a Rolling Stones concert. Now, what I didn't like about being at Camping World Stadium is when you get up that high, there's no back to your fucking seat. It's just a bleacher bench. Really? Like, what the fuck? Who had that great idea when they built that place? And so, like when I got up the next day, I'm like, God, I feel like a truck ran over me. And I know I drank, but I didn't drink that much. And then it's like, oh yeah, I forgot. I'm just kind of fucking old. That's what the problem is. No back on a seat. Come on, man. Next time, I'll definitely know. Let's spend the extra money to sit in an actual seat in Camping World Stadium. But man, sounded amazing. Loved every second. Tyler Childers, I believe was his name, opened up the show. A country guy. And he was pretty good. I'm not a huge country fan, but man, that guy was good. He came out and did a duet with Mick Jagger and the Stones. They did Dead Flowers, which was great. I think he was a little bit nervous, as I think most people would be if you're performing with the Rolling Stones. And they go to fist bump at the end, and they kind of missed. But he was kind of walking off, and Mick's trying to go the other way. It was just very weird. At one point, we joked because like Mick Jagger's son playing guitar, and he's like holding his arm out, so you can fuck it like, hey, roadie, come fucking take my guitar. And of course, they never did. And we were, like, well, that guy's probably fucking fired. You had one job, dude. Get Mick's guitar when he's holding it out, and you fucked it up. Good job. But man, it seriously was just that good. A great set list. They mixed in some of the new stuff from Hackney Diamonds. Of course, you had all the classics, Start Me Up, Can't Get No Satisfaction. You had Jumpin' Jack Flash. Like I said, Little TNA was in there. Can't Always Get What You Want. It's Only Rock and Roll. Like, just so many fucking songs. I've never left the Rolling Stones concert disappointed. And absolutely amazing. And I know we all joke that we've been saying this is probably their last tour. I think we've all been saying that since like 1994. But if they came back around next year, I'd probably fucking be there because they are the greatest fucking rock and roll band. Period. Love the fucking Rolling Stones, man. So even in the nosebleed section, well fucking worth it. So anyway, man, I hope you guys have a great week. And until our next episode, please like, subscribe, share, all that good shit. Send it around to your friends. Leave your comments, suggestions, whatever. You guys can also hit my website if you like, brianshaw.com. Feel free to pick up a t-shirt or whatever, or just go and just browse, listen to some old podcasts, whatever the case may be. But again, I always appreciate you guys listening and your support. So until next time, cheers.
Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, you dig?
God bless the internet.